We open our list with this zany Metroidvania about digging and digging. The sequel is just like the first game. We dig our way through numerous obstacles and levels. You know, like Dig Dug, but steampunk. Use a variety of gear to unlock secrets and take on the game's bigger challenges. As a lone steambot with a knack for adventure, uncover what lies beneath this quiet, mysterious little town. Before there was Phoenix Wright, there was his great-great-grandfather. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles follows the story of Naruhodo. Together with her assistant Susato and the eccentric Sherlock Holmes, they solve complex cases across England's legal underworld. This duology contains 2 titles that span 10 major cases, providing hours and hours of visual novel goodness.
Your testimony completely contradicts the facts.
A fantastic level creator celebrating all things Mario, this sequel adds more tools to play and tinker with, encouraging you to experiment with crazy and inventive levels. You can even share your creations online and pray other players survive your creations. Solo players can enjoy Nintendo's own creations or select from other players online.
Everything that lives is designed to end.
One of the greatest science fiction games of all time, Yoko Taro's Nier Automata debuted on the Switch with 0 issues. This optimized port lets players explore the existential themes of 2B and friends' adventures in their post-apocalyptic world. The End of Yora edition is the definitive way to play the game, as it includes all DLCs and bonus content since release.
Let's do this!
Monster Hunter continues to pour in money for Capcom. After the success of Monster Hunter World, Rise followed in its footsteps with almost universal praise from almost 100 critics. Rise added the wire bug mechanic, which made gameplay faster and more fluid, bringing swagger to each playstyle. Similar to World's Iceborne, Rise's Sunbreak DLC expands on the monster hunting journey with new monsters to hunt and endgame content to grind. Cuphead is not for players who love throwing their Joy-Cons. This run-and-gun platformer is a test of patience. Don't let its gorgeous art style fool you. It's a game known for its devious difficulty. Face off against detailed boss fights that feel like a fever dream. Its first and last DLC, the Delicious Last Course, adds a brutal selection of enemies and levels to overcome. It doesn't matter if you play as Cuphead, Mugman, or Miss Chalice, the challenge remains the same. Pikmin 4, the Switch's PG-rated RTS game, is Nintendo's solution for the lack of strategy games. It may sound far-fetched, but that's essentially what the series is all about. What makes this latest entry great is the addition of new Pikmin to control. The Ice and Glow Pikmin provide new layers of puzzle solving to the already confounding levels of its miniature world. It's a confident sequel built on the strengths of its predecessors despite its niche market. It sucks that Diablo fans on the Switch can't play the latest entry to the series. Diablo III is the closest thing they get to experience to a modern Diablo title. Plus, the best thing about this port is the ability to couch co-op with a friend. The Eternal Collection is the definitive way to play Diablo III. It contains the Reaper of Souls and the Rise of the Necromancer DLCs, as well as bonus content to give players a head start. Samus Aran's latest return isn't Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Dread is a return to form of the classic Metroid formula. It sees Samus moving in labyrinthian hallways and levels. Even with its familiar mechanics, Dread has a survival horror twist where evil robots chase you across the map. Each encounter with these machines brings a dynamic effect on exploration, forcing us to use flight instead of the usual fight response. Dead Cells takes our 16th spot. Motion Twin's fast-paced action game spices the platformer genre up with a roguelike flavor. Dead Cells' success lies in its endless replayability. There's always something to do after every failure. Whether you die or survive until the final boss, you're always left with something to do. Not to mention, its crossover expansions add some new narrative elements to our journey across its multiple biomes. A theme park-like adventure that brought a breath of new content to the already packed Wii U original, this enhanced edition for the Switch is the best way to play one of the greatest Mario platformers of all time. This re-release of Mario's revered 3D adventure adds an extra level. In Bowser's Fury, there are more challenges that await Mario and his perpetual battle against his spiky enemies. Dubbed as the best Fire Emblem ever made, Three Houses is a trifecta of genres merged into a single game. It's a healthy balance of strategy, visual novel, and dating sim elements. There's an intricate gameplay loop that revolves around teaching classes, going to war, and forging relationships. Together, these blend into a fantastic JRPG adventure that can be enjoyed on the Switch casually, docked or portable mode. The latest game to enter our list, Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, is a JRPG of 2D proportions. It's a full remake that unfolds the 2004 GameCube classic to a modern audience. Help Mario collect the precious crystal stars before the bad guys do and travel across its vibrant storybook world. Combat involves combining turn-based combat with an inventive paper twist. Everything might be paper, but there's power in when to fold everything. One of the greatest JRPGs in the market, Echoes of the Elusive Age is your typical JRPG adventure full of dangerous dungeons, wacky characters, and a lengthy story spanning multiple regions. 11S is the definitive edition of 11. It came with bonus features for players to tinker with, the option to switch between two graphical modes, the classic 2D or modern 3D. It gives players a choice between reliving nostalgia or seeing the world of Ardea with fresh eyes. We said it once, and we'll say it again. New Horizons is therapy in video game form. It's a worry-free zone where you build your own sanctuary for you and your animal buddies. If you ignore Tom Nook's greedy hands, this wholesome community of adorable friends makes for a quick escape. New Horizons support may have stopped after its massive Happy Home Paradise DLC, but there's still a lot to do in our little haven. The best and biggest Xenoblade entry yet, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 concludes the complex lore of all three titles. It answers most of our burning questions and opens its doors for the series' future. This third major entry is a technical achievement on Switch hardware. It's a massive open world with few loading screens and fast-paced real-time combat. Monolith Soft did the impossible in optimizing this game. The mother of all character action games. Before there was Bayonetta 3, Bayonetta 2 continued Cereza's action-packed streak as she fought the armies of heaven and hell. Gameplay is much more fluid the second time around. With her umbral powers, the deadly witch bobs and weaves her hair and guns with style.
But I know I have to.
The best racing game on the Nintendo Switch, perfect for solo or for playing with friends. This deluxe edition is packed with the best goodies of its Wii U original and more. There are over 90 courses available to play, including the newly added DLC packs. It's a racing festival of all things Mario. Pick from a wide selection of iconic Mario and Nintendo characters and enjoy the ride.
You don't see that every day.
The latest Super Mario game goes all out with its surprises. Wonder shakes up the traditional Super Mario formula. The addition of the Wonder Flower adds new twists and turns to Mario and company's journey. Whether it's transforming Mario into a huge elephant or changing the level entirely, this unpredictability makes the adventure unique compared to its predecessors. The biggest crossover game in the world, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate may be over, but there's always fun to be had with its endless fighting shenanigans. It's Nintendo's prize-fighting game played by people all around the world. The final edition of Kingdom Hearts Sora was a treasured memory for its community. It does not stop here. Whatever Sakurai is cooking up next, we'll look forward to it.
Alright, one more time.
Hades 2 might be out on Steam, but the first Hades game still holds a special place in our hearts. This godlike roguelike took us to the far reaches of the underworld with the help of the iconic Greek pantheon. It was a game unlike any other, despite borrowing the usual repeating cycle of the genre. It was ultimately a tale about a family all caught in the white noise of godhood. We can't wait for Hades 2's imminent Switch release.
I'll have to go with the painful way.
A remaster of Samus' first foray into first-person shooter territory, Metroid Prime was a high point in Metroid history. It was an immersive shooter that gave us the familiar game we all love, but with a fresh perspective. The first-person elements bring the action to your face. The Metroidvania elements remain the same, but the 3D space adds complexity to its design. With over 102 critic reviews, Tears of the Kingdom is the most reviewed Nintendo game in our database. The sequel to Breath of the Wild opened the floodgates of possibilities with a handful of new toys to play with. The addition of the Ultra Hand was the solution everyone needed. It was used for inventive builds that aided Link's quest to save Princess Zelda. Months after the game came out, a lot of players are still flexing their finest creations in the war against Ganon. Nintendo's crowning achievement in recent memory, Breath of the Wild was the spark the franchise needed to spread to new audiences. It was a bold step in the Legend of Zelda history, transforming Link's adventure into an open-world wonder. It signaled a new age for gaming, influencing known titles like Elden Ring, the Horizon series, and even the latest Final Fantasy titles with its level design and artistic choices. It was a gaming phenomenon, leaving a major impact on the Nintendo Switch's legacy since its release 7 years ago. The two Zelda games may be strong, but Nintendo's poster boy still retains the crown as the best Nintendo Switch game according to critics. Odyssey came out months after Breath of the Wild. It was another instant hit for Nintendo. It was the sequel to all the major Mario 3D games. It featured a hat that lets you control objects. You can even use it as a jumping platform. To top it all off, its semi-open world element turns Mario's adventures in New Donk City into a playground of endless possibilities. New and old fans can just hop right in and enjoy the standalone story. There's a lot of content packed into its rich world, something Mario fans are used to most of the time. Here are other Switch titles that couldn't make the cut due to a lack of critic reviews.